So in my defense, it's been raining most of the day, and then it was dinner time, so it was always going to be an after dark planting today, but let's get on with it. Right, so today's planting is, I'm going to start straight off and say it's a bit of a weird one. So first up, I'm putting in Dracaena studinaria, and if you want to count that as today's plant, you can. That's not what's going to go on the list. I am intending to keep it there, so it probably should, but because today's planting might be a little bit contentious, I will only be counting one, so it's not the one I'm choosing to count. So what I am putting in after that is an Alpinia Zerambit, which is one of the shell gingers. I have heard of this species being used as a spice, but as far as I know, the only sort of major non-ornamental use for it, usually in terms of ingestion, is as a fairly soothing tea. It is quite a good one for settling the stomach, and it's supposed to have anti-inflammatory properties. Whether that's been pharmacologically backed up, I'm not sure. But that's going in, contrary to popular wisdom, with today's tree, which is a Musa, Musa ex Paradisia, I think. I'm not really good on the Latin names of this group, but it's a banana, and I can't tell you the name of the variety. Usually this is just sold as local banana when you see the fruit for sale. It's a short, stubby little banana which has a relatively high starch content, works quite well as a plantain if it's cooked green, and has a sweet, springy flesh which tends to keep a lot better than most of the more commercial bananas that you grow, like the Williams banana. Now, the reason those two are going in together is a little bit contentious, is both of those play host to a variety of sap-sucking insects which can carry a disease called Bunchy top virus. But, as far as I know, the ginger cannot be affected by that. And so I'm putting it on the windward side. In fact, generally speaking, bananas, I always try to put things on the windward side of, because they do suffer from the wind. They tend to get their leaves very shredded, and then their photosynthesis is reduced. So a banana with nice whole leaves is often going to be much more productive than one with those very typical flappy banana leaves. But previously we had a small outbreak of the bunchy top virus, and on one side of the thicket where I have a lot of Zingiberales all through, so Strelitzias, gingers, turmeric and stuff growing within the thicket, on the windward side all the bananas got affected by the disease and died, and on the leeward side, so out of the wind, on the other side of all those different gingers which can play host to the same sap-sucking insects but can't, crucially, host the virus, none of my bananas got sick. And this is actually a propagate from that clump of, one of the clumps on the other side that didn't get sick. And so I'm testing the idea, a little bit unkindly perhaps to this little banana, that having the other Zingibers close when they can't host the virus means that you have less chance of an infected insect being around to bite the banana, because the last plant the plant it's likely matured on is likely not another banana. So we'll see. I hope it'll work. If not, we can always count the Dracaena. And then on that slightly flippant note, I guess, well, I'm putting in 2 more slightly toxic plants to try and reduce the chance of ants breeding scale bugs and so forth on these little bananas. So I'm going to be putting something I haven't put in yet, which is an Aloe lempelis. I did speculate that the unknown aloe from a previous planting was an Aloe lempelis, but I'm fairly sure it's not at this point. But that is one of the true fence aloes. I've been calling the Aloe cameroni and the Aloe nieriensis and all those sort of leggy aloes fence aloes, but really I should be calling those hedge aloes. I just call them fence aloes because they use as a fence. This is one that tangles through fences. It is one of the few creeping aloes, and it should tangle up through the banana and the ginger and eventually the Dracaena, and it should keep them sort of isolated from things that would affect them that won't affect the aloe. And I'm also putting in a Kalanchoe prolifera, the rather pinnate, rather pretty pantropical Kalanchoe, which is, again, as with all the Kalanchoes, nice and toxic and should dissuade too many of the insect pests from damaging my intended plantings today. So that should be everything for today. Tune in tomorrow. There are more things I'd intended to plant today, but then with the rain it didn't happen, so hopefully that will be something I can get done quite early while there is still light tomorrow, unless tomorrow is another very, very wet day. Thank you for watching, and yeah, have a good night.